My name is Mike Nieman, and this is my personal credo speech. I'd like to introduce my audience, if the cameraman will pan to the audience. Hi, everybody, and they're all consenting adults. Thank you. Okay, so years ago, I was an international operations director for a maritime company that had operations in a remote portion of the Bering Sea in the Russian territories. And late one day, I received a call from Otto, a very salty Norwegian captain that worked for us. And the first words out of his mouth, as soon as I picked up the phones, were, "Yeah, Mike, I need a lot of tampons." And now, this was normal from Otto. It was often that, he needed something that, I needed to order, and our team based in Seattle at that time needed to get arranged and get logistically set up to get delivered. And it usually took about 2 weeks to get stuff out to him. So I'm assumed that he just needed this. So the next logical questions I asked was, well, when do you need them and how many do you need? And of course, the first thing out of his mouth, and very angrily, he said, "I need them tomorrow, and I need a pallet of them." I'm like, okay, well, that changes things. So as I'm sitting there thinking about how do I solve this problem, I had recently heard a phrase that resonated with me, and it was think big, be brave, deliver. And this situation was going to take all of that. Now, where they were operating in the far east of Russia, there was really no place around that could support them. And most of our operations were supported out of Busan, Korea. So the first thing I needed to do was think big. And within the space of about 24 hours, I needed to find a supplier. I needed to find a logistics company. I needed to find a freight company, multiple freight companies actually, to get it from Busan, Korea to waters out in the middle of what we call the Sea of Okhotsk, which is a portion of the North Bering Sea. Now, you think, why did Otto need tampons? Well, Otto had a crew of about 450 people out there, and more than half of them were women. And as someone who was a husband at the time, I was sensitive to the needs that he was facing in that time, and I understood the criticality of why he had this urgency in his voice. So I needed to do something that had never been done before, and I needed to think out of the box to be able to do it. I needed to be brave, and this was the second part of it, which means I needed to start calling up multiple parties to start participating in this. And then I had to deal with all their resistance for doing it in such a short time frame. I knew they would not want to do it that fast. They were used to being slow, and I was going to have to push them to do it faster and do it quicker and find ways around the obstacles that they normally dealt with. And then finally, I was going to have to deal with the snarkiness that every one of them was going to give me when they found out what I was trying to ship. So that got me to deliver, which means I had to figure out how to do it. It's great to be able to plan how to be brave and have courage and thinking how to do it, but ultimately, you've got to execute. You've got to figure out how to get it done. So in this particular case, the first thing I did was I started calling all those parties that were going to have to help me get that out there. And then I had to tell them, put away your masculine toxicity and figure out how to focus on the problem. Now, we all are going to face challenges in our careers where we have to do something big and hard, difficult. And we're going to have to deal with the naysayers that you can't do it or I don't want to do it, but you got to find a way. That's the difference between just thinking about doing stuff and actually getting stuff done. That's the deliver part of think big, be brave, deliver. So in my particular case, I won't bore you with all the details that it took. It was about 24 to 30 hours of solid work figuring it out. But I can tell you that within 30 hours, there was an Mi-8 Russian helicopter that was landing a pallet of tampons on the ship of, Otto's operations. And every woman on that ship remembered that I managed to get it there because somebody had managed to forget, and it happened to be a purser on one of the ships at the time that did all the ordering for the fleet. Somebody forgot that women have needs. That happens. And it created a challenge, and in the end, somebody had to fix it. It fell to me. It was a big challenge. I had to think big, be brave, and deliver. Now, I've had the opportunity to overcome a number of challenges in my career, and I've often gone back to that credo. And some people call it grit, some people call it courage, some people call it drive. To me, that's not enough, just putting it into one word. I need to break it down a little bit more. Think big, be brave, deliver. Thank you.